Good morning, students. Welcome to today's session. Today we will be discussing the first period order question paper of class 10. The question paper had the first question as a formal letter. So we will read the question and then we will come to the format and then we will come to the errors, the common errors which were there. Now the question is, write a letter to the editor of a local newspaper pointing out the need to maintain social distancing and wearing of masks, which has diminished since the restrictions imposed during the complete lockdown has been eased. Now this question has few parts which we should know and we should mark as important. First is, in this case, whenever you get a paper, try to underline these points. The main point of this letter is pointing out the need to maintain social distancing and wearing of masks. Now, to whom are we writing this letter? We are writing this letter to the editor of a local newspaper. How is the editor concerned and what can the editor do? So beginning this letter with the sentence, this is to bring to your notice, or this is to inform you. What will the editor do? You should always stick to the lines which you have been taught in class whenever you're writing a letter to the editor. Through the column of your newspaper, I want to convey this message to the concerned authority. Note this line somewhere. Whenever you are writing a letter to the editor, you are always going to use this line as your beginning statement. Now, what all errors were done? First error, I'll come to the format. This we have already discussed at the beginning of class 10. Still, I'll come back to it. Formal letter, the address, that is your address, will be on the right side of the page. I don't know why some of you are writing it on the left side of the page. It will go wrong. Unnecessarily don't do this. Whatever you're taught in the class, do that. This, if it is placed on the left side, you get a 0. The address has to be of 3 lines. Line 1, line 2, line 3, then the city. If you're writing a 2-line address, you will not get this half a mark. Same. Next is the date. Date again is of half a mark. Date has to be 5th April. For example, you have to write the full month. You will not write SEP for September, OCT for October, comma, the full year 2020, not apostrophe 20. This is half mark. If you are writing the address on the left side and the date on the left side, both 0. Coming to, this was the sender's address or your address. Coming to the receiver's address, it will always be on the left side. Suppose you're writing to the editor, it will be the editor, comma, next line, Hindustan Times, comma, next line, Hazratganj, comma, next line, Lucknow. Again, 1, 2, 3, 3-line address apart. So the address will be 3 lines, address line 1, line 2, line 3, and then the city, and at the top, the editor. It will not be to the editor. This was also an error which we saw in some of the papers. Now coming to the salutation, it will be dear sir or dear madam. It will not be respected sir, respected madam, or it will not be ma'am. It will be full madam. Now, in the body of the letter, again, I'll tell you the way you're supposed to begin through the column of your newspaper. I want to bring the attention or draw the attention of the concerned authorities towards this problem, and then you will continue with the discussion of the problem, which is the important part of the question. That is, your question will relate only to maintaining social distancing as well as wearing of masks. In the exam, it was noticed some of your letter was totally off topic because you had copied it from somewhere. It had no relevance whatsoever with the question. So try not to do this, because in that case you will simply get a 0. Now, when you're talking about in the body, first you will write what is the issue, means what is the problem, like I have written here in this dummy letter as the complaint. So what is the issue, what is the problem that you are trying to talk about, and then give some suggestions. This is what is a letter to the editor. Now, how do we end it? Yours faithfully. Note the Y. Be very careful. If you do not write a Y like this, and if you do not write a F like this half mark is gone. You have to write yours in this way, faithfully in this way, and one more error which we have noticed, and I am very sad to see that even in class 10 you're doing that. That is your apostrophe S. Your apostrophe S is not yours. And you're missing the commas. Yours faithfully, comma, Atul Kumar, full name. Now see, in this part, in your exam, this is half mark, this is half mark. But if this goes wrong or this goes wrong, you lose both the half marks. So it becomes 1 mark. So how was the mark? How did we mark it? Format is of 3, content is of 2, expression is of 5. So total 10 marks. Now coming to the next question. This is after the declaration of lockdown, you have been trapped in a hotel for almost 2 months now. Write a letter to your brother describing the problem you are facing and how you are managing things. Now, what are the points that you need to underline moment you read the question? First is trapped in a hotel, underlined. Then 2 months. Then your brother. Then describing the problems. And lastly, you are managing things. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points which you need to underline in the question so that you know when you're writing the letter what points are to be covered. Coming to the informal letter format. Once again, sender's line 1 of sender's address, that is your address. Line 2, sender's address. Line 3, sender's address and city. This is of half mark. Any comma missing, any error, this half mark is gone. Again, this has to be on the right side of the page. Do not write it on the left side of the page as it has been done by many. If you write on the left side of the page, you get a 0. It has to be on the right side of the page. Date is important in a informal letter also. It carries half marks. Many of you have not written the date. Again, it is to be written on the right side, just below the sender's address. Date 5th April, comma, again full month, SEP September, no, September full spelling, comma 2020, full stop. Remember, these commas and full stops are important. Now, who was this letter to be addressed? It was to be addressed to your brother here. So if you are writing dear brother, you lose this half a mark. It has to be a name. Your brother has a name. It will be dear Sunil, dear Rajesh, dear whatever. It may be your brother's name. So this will be there. Now this carries half a mark. Coming to the body of the letter, let us read the question once again. After declaration of the lockdown, you have been trapped in a hotel for almost 2 months now. So you can begin the letter, my dear Sunil, how are you? Hope you are doing well in this lockdown period that's going on across India. You are aware I had gone to XYZ place along with my friends for a trip in the last week, and I was staying in this hotel ABC. And for the last 2 months, I have been trapped in this hotel because of lockdown, and we cannot go out anywhere. It's a pathetic situation for us. It's very difficult to stay at one place together having nothing to do. Even in the hotel, the food and other things are getting exhausted slowly and slowly. Moreover, the cost of the hotel is also increasing, and the tariff of the hotel is has been increased by the hotel manager looking into the other costs. So it is very difficult for us to pay the hotel. Moreover, still we cannot go out of the hotel. These are the problems that you're going to discuss in the letter. How are you managing things? I have asked father to send me 5,000 rupees through net banking or any other option. And so, similarly, some of my other friends have also spoken to their parents and have asked for money. Somehow we are managing the things. We are not eating in the restaurant. We are getting our fruits and other edible things from the grocery store using Zomato or Swiggy, and then somehow we are managing the things here. These are the points that needs to be there in the letter, which not many of you have done. That is the reason. So there will be almost 5 points which will be in the body of this letter, and these points you will have to be related to the question. Coming to the end. Now see, a common problem which I've seen, not many points have been covered in this letter by you. Very limited number of points you have written. Okay, now coming to yours lovingly or yours loving. Abhay is your name. Now see, it is not Abhay and your surname, because you're writing to your brother. He knows you by your first name. So it will be yours lovingly, Abhay. Again, note how Y has been written. Half marks plus half marks. Total, format 2.5 marks, content 2.5 marks, and expression of 5 marks. That is 10 marks. What is expression? The way you express this section, the body, the way you express the points that have been asked in the question. This includes, not includes, rather, if there are grammatical mistakes, you're going to lose mark for that. Please note. Coming to the third question. So both the questions Question number 1, question number 2, one was a formal letter, one was an informal letter. Both were compulsory. Coming to question number 3, there is the notice and the email question. Okay, the first one, 3A, you are the secretary of the sports club of your school. Draft a notice to be displayed on the school notice board informing the students about the inter-school football tournament to be organized in the school from 1st July to 7th July 2020. Now, what all you need to underline before you start answering. The first thing you need to underline that you are the secretary of the sports club. Second, inter-school football tournament. Third, 1st July to 7th July. Now see, this is a question, both email and notice, where you can get 5 out of 5 in your board exam, provided you follow the guidelines that have been given by the board. Coming to the notice and email, the first thing that a notice should have is a catchy headline, and it should relate to the event. I mean, it should not be a headline just for the heck of it. There must be some connection with the event. Note, this is a 1 mark. So if you don't write it or if you write it wrong, you get a 0 here. What is the name of the event? Or if there is no name, then detail of the event. For example, debate, inter-school debate contest. So there is no name for the event. So you will write inter-school debate contest. Then the date of the event. In this case, what will be the, coming to the question, you are the secretary of sports club of your school. Draft a notice to be displayed on the school notice informing the students about the inter-school football tournament. So here it will be, the name of the event will be inter-school football tournament, and accordingly you can form a small, short, catchy headline. Date of event is mentioned. It is from 1st of July to 7th of July 2020. So date of event will come here. It is of half marks. Time of event. In the question, have they mentioned the time? No. So what you are going to do, you can create your own time. You can write from 7 a.m. till 12 noon. This will be the time. Remember, all these points carry marks. Now, where if some of you have lost in catchy headline. Either you have not written the catchy headline or you have written something which is irrelevant. Here, most of you got it correct. Date of event, some of you missed it. Date of event is mentioned in the question. You have to take it from the question. Now, this is the point where many of you missed the time of the event. Many of you have not written the time of the event, or if you have written it, you have written just the starting time. So you have to write from this AM to this PM. Now, another point where many of you got it wrong is the venue. You have been told there will be 2 venues. One is the smaller venue, the other one is the larger venue. So in this case, it has been organized in your school. You will not write my school or the school. You will write front field will be the smaller venue. SMRJ Puriya School. Note, do not write only SMRJ Puriya. Many of you have done it. What is SMRJ Puriya? I know it, you know it, the examiner doesn't know it. So it will be front field or back field, SMR Jaipuria School. You will not write SMR Jaipuria School, Gomti Nagar. Larger venue will be the school. Smaller venue will be the place inside the school. So if it's a debate, it will be school auditorium. SMR Jaipuria School. Half plus half. Now what is the target audience? Does the question mention the target audience? You are the secretary of the sports club of your school. Draft a notice to be displayed on the school notice board, informing the students about the inter-school football tournament to be organized in your school from 1st July to 7th July. So target audience is not mentioned. You can mention whatever you want. You can mention from students of from class 8 to 12 or 11, 10 and 12, 10 to 12, whatever target audience, but it has to be mentioned, even if the question doesn't carry that. So you will mention target audience, which is of 1 mark. If you want to add a one-liner regarding the notice, you can add, but then there are no marks for this, though you may add, like for example, any student who is interested in participating in the school team may contact whom? Contact the sports club secretary, that is you, because you are writing this notice before such and such date. Now see how you're going to write this. You will form a box. First is the catchy headline on the first line. Second, event name or detail. Then date of event. Then time of event. Smaller venue, larger venue, target audience, and the one line regarding the notice. People who are interested, people from class 8 to 12 who are interested in participating in the school team may contact the secretary. You will not, one more mistake which I have been seeing after writing the notice, here at the bottom left, many of you have written yours faithfully, secretary of the sports club. This is not there. You will not write this on this side. Yours faithfully, secretary sports club will not be mentioned here. Nothing will be mentioned here. Your notice ends moment you write the last line which I have told you here. Please note, this was done by many of you. That means your concept of writing a notice is not clear. Kindly go through the entire thing again and go back to your class 9 notebooks and read, see the format and do accordingly. Otherwise, where you can get 5 out of 5, you will get 2.5, 3. As such, scoring marks in language is not that easy as compared to literature. Coming to the next question. Now we come to the next question. This is the email question, and many of you have done a lot of errors in this question. So be careful, listen to this. The question is, write an email to a famous football player requesting him or her to be the guest of honor at the inter-school football tournament to be organized in your school. So the points to be underlined, first is famous football player. Second, to be the guest of honor. Third, inter-school football tournament. And fourth, your school. Now first, what we are going to do is see the format. How is this to be written? Now, if the question says write an email to the principal, to the editor, in that case you will write the email address of the receiver but no name but designation. Like you will write to the editor @ hindustantimes.com. But here But here the thing is, the question asks you to write an email to a famous football player. Means you have to write a name. So it will be to maybe Sunil Kumar @gmail.com. So we will know, according to you, Sunil Kumar is the person who is a famous football player. Subject. What subject is, what is this email about? It is not, the email is not about inter-school football tournament. It is an invitation to the event. So it will be invitation to be the guest of honor in the inter-school football tournament. Many of you have written only inter-school football tournament, or just football tournament, or just invitation. You are going to lose marks for this. Next is salutation. As in the formal letter, you will write dear sir, dear ma'am, but not respected sir, respected ma'am. Next is the opening sentence. Now, one more thing I have noticed in the email that you all have written, many of you have written our school is organizing. Now, if suppose you are this person and you get a letter, get an email from someone writing our school is organizing, what is our school for this, for you? You have to mention our school, SMRJ is organizing an inter-school football competition. Now in the opening sentence, this is important. In the opening sentence, the invitation should be mentioned. Like you may write, our school, SMRJ school, is holding an inter-school football competition and we request you to be the guest of honor for this event. This is mandatory. The opening sentence should mention the invitation. Next, details of the events. Now, these details are to be taken from your notice. What will the detail contain? Name of the event. When is the event? Time of the event. What is the venue of the event, both small and large? So every detail has to be taken from the notice. Target audience, you may include, you may not include in it, though, because he is the person to whom you're writing this email may not be interested in the target audience, but you mention it. This event is for students from class 8 to 12. Okay, now what? Details of the event, each and every detail which you have mentioned in the notice has to come in here. Closing sentence should mention assurance of participation. Means the closing sentence of the email should have like, we look forward to your kind presence in this event as the guest of honor. Now, another place where you have made a mistake. What is the invitation for? The invitation is for guest of honor and not just an invitation to come and see the event. Or it is not to be the chief guest. You have to copy the entire phrase guest of honor and not chief guest. Closing sentence and subscription as in a formal letter, like yours faithfully, your name, and now below your name you will write Secretary of the Sports Club of St. MRJ Puria School. So that will give you the marks. This is an example which we have already done when we had last studied this. So I'm not going to discuss it again. If you want to see the mark breakup, it is mentioned here. Email address, receivers, half marks. Invitation, half a mark. Salutation, half a mark. First paragraph, which includes the invitation, half a mark. Details of the invitation, half a mark. The ending of the email, half a mark. So 6 into half is equal to 3 marks. 2 marks for expression, which I've already told you, which includes all the details of the notice are to be included in full sentence in the email. So that makes your notice as well as email. Now coming to the tenses question. The grammar part, not many of you have done properly. You need to work on your grammar. Take out your class 9 total English. Try to do or revise all those questions there again. Also, you must have bought your total English for class 10. Go through it. Now I'll be reading out this passage along with the answers. You may write down the answers. Prabal, a young taxi driver, claimed that a monster had attacked. So the answers are mentioned here. If there is any change in the answer, I'll let you know. If there are some more answers, I'll also let you know. So Prabal, a young taxi driver, claimed that a monster had attacked him, because it's in past, claimed, so had attacked, while he was driving, again in the past, so something which has happened in the past will be was driving along a lonely road. The monster, B means was 5 feet tall. So a monster he saw at the time, so was, had red eyes and a hairy body. After having chased or chasing the taxi for a kilometer, he had jumped on its roof, and scratched the face of the driver. Many people said that they believed in the existence of the monster, and the newspapers called the monster the Monkey Man. 90 policemen set out to catch the monster, and the local television offered rupees 10,000 to anyone who would get him dead or alive. The Monkey Man became so popular that crowds came to Delhi to see him. No one needs to find him, as everyone knew monsters may or may not exist, but they are good for the tourism industry. Coming to the prepositions, the souvenirs were of no value. The company has taken over a number of small firms. The offices allowed us to proceed with our building plans. He is cutting down means to reduce, on salt. The sports day went off well this year. She had always hankered after or for riches. We decided against a picnic in view of the bad weather. Rima and Seema have fallen out. Coming to the synthesis sentences, which you are supposed to join without using and, but, or so. The old man is very rich. He is not proud of his wealth. Answer would be though the old man is very rich, comma, he is not proud of his wealth. Now, in any of these grammatical sentences, remember to put comma where it is required and always mention a full stop when the sentence ends. Next one, he finished his breakfast, he rushed to the railway station. Answer would be, having finished his breakfast, comma, he rushed to the railway station. Next, the thief saw me, he at once took to his heels. As soon as the thief saw me, he took to his heels. Next, the soldier saved the boy, otherwise he would have drowned. Answer, had the soldier not saved the boy, comma, he would have drowned. Now see, in each of the sentences, the sequence of events have been maintained in the answer. If you don't maintain the sequence of events, your answer will go wrong. Sequence of events, I mean what happened first and what happened second. All the students in our class were promoted. Begin with none. None of the students in our class was detained. It cannot be failed because failed also relate to single subject, and it cannot be demoted. Demoted means from class 10 you go back to class 9. It has to be detained. The children saw a movie as well as had dinner at the club. Begin not only. So the answer would be not only but also. Not only did the children see a movie but also had dinner at the club. This many of you got wrong. Although she was young, they appointed her. Begin in spite. Now many of you got this wrong because you wrote the spelling in spite as a single word. There are two words. It is in spite. So the answer would be in spite of she, not her, or not in spite of being young. It will be in spite of she being young, they appointed her, comma will be there. As soon as the teacher enters the class, all stand up. Begin no sooner. No sooner does. Why does? As soon as this teacher entered the class, then will be had. As soon as the teacher enters means if this happens every time the teacher enters, so it will be does. Only a fool would be taken in by your sweet talk. Begin. None. None but a fool would be taken in by your sweet talk. Okay, coming to the next question. Although Prospero is tall, he is not strong. Now this sentence almost everybody got it wrong. Answer is tall though Prospero may be, comma, he is not strong. Next sentence, although he was selected for the Indian cricket team, he did not join it. Begin with despite. Despite of is wrong. Despite being selected in is wrong here. It will be for. Despite being selected for the Indian cricket team, comma, he did not join it. Next sentence. Moushumi eats only fruits and vegetables. Begin Moushumi lives. Moushumi lives only, because the word only is there in the sentence, it will be only on fruits and vegetables. So that brings us to the end of this question paper. Not, I cannot say that it was done satisfactorily by all the students. You have to work very hard to come up to our expectations. Kindly go through your class 9 notes, go through my videos on email writing, notice writing, letter writing, and prepare yourself to score maximum marks in these questions. Grammatical problems, grammatical questions, please go back to your class 6, 7, 8 notebooks and the language books there. Basics have to be clear, and that was done when you were in class 6, 7, 8 and 9 also. Go through and do that. Thank you so much. God bless you.